Episode 4, Roanoke
colony.
But for this
and other stuff too.
But for this kind of Roanoke conversation we will be having, it's gonna be like a different look on it than how it normally is, and we're going to
what are we going to do, Ray?
Oh, we're gonna look at the different sides of the Roanoke.
Which side?
Like
The one on the bottom or the front?
Left side.
I like the east side.
East side.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
like just something a little bit different than what everybody learns each year.
Yes, that's it.
Well, what's interesting is I don't think a lot of schools get a chance to learn it as much as these students do. This is something that is right in our backyard here in Pamlico, River, Sound, Beaufort County area, that we can explore and take a chance to see the foundation of our country and where it leads. And at some point in time, a lot of the kids actually take field trips out there to see this island that is known as the Roanoke Island.
We're lucky.
Yes, Dylan, you are.
What?
That's why every time you talk, you sound like an NPR announcer talking
He
about.
does.
Doesn't he?
Yes.
Today we're talking about the
I don't know why
eclectic
my voice
sounds of the Amazon women rain dance movement, brought to you by the brewery off to the left.
Okay, who wants to start us off?
Why
Raven,
not
thank
you,
you for-
Raven, since you didn't get
Thanks
to
for
speak in our last
volunteering.
one?
Thanks for volunteering, Raven. You're so nice.
All right, so basically I researched some stuff about the Dare Stones, and the Dare Stones are like a series of 48 rocks.
Well, do you want to? Sorry, Raven. Do you want to take a step back and tell the listeners, why Roanoke Colony is significant?
Okay, I'm on it.
Her face right now.
Significant?
Okay, so
Important.
Why are we
you guys
talking
ready?
about?
Here's the story of Roanoke. Okay, so
Raven
hey, it's like 1850 around this time, and like, okay, we're gonna send some people over, conquer this new land.
Wait. Let me just. Did you say 1850?
I said 15 something.
No, you said 1850.
You said 1850. You meant 1580.
I think what the students are looking for is
Yeah.
1587 by John White.
5085 and
I thought it was
5085.
60s. And
So-
1560 that time.
1585 to 1585.
We should just
So-
have a debate on this time.
Yeah, debate about the year.
So basically, it's Roanoke. It's like, so there was a colony. There was a group of people that were sent over to make a colony on Roanoke, and they got there, and the leading person that was in charge of it was John White.
So he's like,
And
man, I want to go
Thank
back
you, Dylan.
to
I
England.
appreciate that so much. I just wanted to explain it.
Yeah, man, I want to go back to England. I want to get some more supplies. England, yeah.
He went back over
so
to England
then,
to get some.
All right, guys, get
He went
together.
over to England to get some supplies, and he ended up getting stuck. Like when
Yeah,
he got there, he
stuck
was
in a war.
at the time he was in a war.
And then the
And
French.
He was in the war. He was in the war. Okay, no, he wasn't in the war. When he went over to
He got
England,
stuck.
Dylan.
On his way back, there was a war, and he got stuck in all the war.
Yeah,
commotion.
he was there for about 3 years.
Yeah, by the
Until
time-
he could leave once the war was over. It was just about.
And to clarify with that mumble jumble of information, we're looking at a 3-year delay from 1587 to 1590
That's a pretty
when
long
he did
time.
go back to England for supplies.
That's a long time, like on your own without leadership.
That's like half your life.
I know, right?
Wow.
That's like a third of my life.
That one's actually true.
No, it's a fourth. It's a fourth.
Yeah, roughly a fourth of you.
Yeah, roughly.
Okay.
So yeah, so what Raven's talking about is, should we go over the possibilities? I think, did you guys talk about what happened? Actually, I'm jumping the gun here. I'm jumping the gun.
What happened was when he got back,
Who's he?
when John
John
White
White.
got back,
Senior.
when John,
Dale Jr.
all right, so when he got back, the colony had, everybody in the colony had, disappeared.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. And
That's not good.
no one, and he looked around and he couldn't really find them.
Except on the tree, there was like a marking.
That's
Like crow. Yeah,
Like,
crow and
Is it Croatoan? I
It
feel
said
like
Croatan on here, but it could also be Croatan.
I've always said Croatan, and then I think Mrs. Lachlan, our other humanities teacher, corrected me and said what Dylan said, Croatan.
I was always saying
Crouton.
Crouton.
I don't know. We can let's just ask.
And it wasn't actually just on a tree. There were also a few wooden posts from buildings.
Really?
Yeah.
And
I didn't know
with
that.
crow carved in them,
Did you know that?
almost like they
No.
were half finished.
Wow.
There were a few pieces of pottery left around, but not a whole lot.
So it just it's like they picked everything up and left.
Yeah, it was like all gone. So like
But,
I saw a.
Wait, I have a question for you, Charlie.
Yes.
Do you know if some of the houses were still there, or like all the? houses
None of
were
the
still
actual houses were still all the way up, but some of the foundations for them were still there.
So,
And it was, I think what Dylan's trying to get across is that there wasn't a struggle. The houses were down due to,
Well, it
improper
could've been
infrastructure. Or I don't think they were burnt. I'm pretty sure everything left there was just completely abandoned, and that adds to the mystery. Because if there were, because I'm pretty sure, as the story recalls, if there was a struggle or broken pots here and there from an obvious struggle, a lot of the conclusions could have been more aggressive Native Americans or anything like that.
one theory,
But that's not the case.
one theory I saw was that there was hurricanes.
North Carolina gets hurt.
What? No, never.
No way, no way.
Never.
Well, apparently back then they got hurricanes, and way back then.
We still get hurricanes.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about,
We
Raven?
never get hurricanes. Okay.
Never.
Well, anyway, so one of the theories is that they could have gotten a hurricane, which might have it was like that, or there was another one where the water levels rise, something like that. It was something about the water. I forgot exactly what it was.
it.
And,
They drank the water.
And they drank the water, and then they all just
Disappeared along with their buildings. The buildings disappeared because the inhabitants drank water.
The fairies.
and back when I was in 6th grade, Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong because we were in the same class. When we were learning about this, Miss Colton had said something about them actually them going with the
Croton?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is one of the possible.
croutons.
That is one of the theories. We
Yeah.
don't know for sure what happened.
No
though.
one really knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we did, we probably wouldn't be talking
Yeah,
about
someone
this.
knows.
Well, someone knows, but
Bill and Ted
like,
probably know.
the
John White
They
doesn't
hid it in
know.
the Vatican.
John
most
White
likely.
doesn't know.
That's all we know is that nobody
Aw.
else knows.
That's so sad. John White died without knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of
Especially
His
since
granddaughter.
his granddaughter
and his most of his family
Most
was
of his
like
family
right
was
there,
there.
and
And
when he comes
disappeared
back,
along
they're
with
gone.
everyone.
So, but that leads on kind of into
Wait.
No,
Yeah.
Okay,
it leads
wait.
on to mine. It leads on to
Wait.
mine.
His granddaughter was Virginia Dare, who was the first person born in the
I got
Americas
information
from
on that.
from England.
I got
she
information
also-
on that.
there was also some.
I got
Okay,
information on that.
you go
Okay,
into
okay.
that,
So
and then-
Virginia Dare's parents were Eleanor Dare and I have no idea how to pronounce that. Aeneas Dare, I think. I don't know. Something
Anais.
Yeah, something like that. But
Isn't that a
that
spice?
No,
Yeah, who
it's a
knows?
character
Who
from
knows?
the Amazing World of Gumball.
no, but okay. Well, anyway,
God.
so in 1955, there was a memorial bridge built after her, and it's a 4-lane, 5-mile-long bridge connecting Mans Harbor and Roanoke Island, and it's the longest bridge in North Carolina. So that's pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah, Raven.
Okay,
Raven.
so
Raven, would you like to talk?
This
now?
kind of
That
this
was an
kind
awkward silence.
this kind of
Don't
leads.
worry, I'll cut it out.
I just realized that no one else is talking.
This kind of leads. Well, every time I talk, you cut me off.
What do you mean, Raven?
Okay, so
Anyway.
okay, so leading on.
And that's all.
Okay, so leading on into what I was about to talk about before we started
Really?
talking about all that. Yes.
I did not know that.
There were they all right in between 1937 and 1940
That's a pretty
the
big gap.
the Dare stones were discovered, and it basically tells like a dramatic tale, kind of like chapters in a chapter book, you know.
Raven, I have a question for you.
Yes, Dylan. What would you
So,
like to know?
I heard that I read somewhere because I also did a little bit of research on this on the Dare stones.
Wait, you read?
Oh yeah, so only sometimes. Only sometimes. Well, I read somewhere that the Dare Stones, not all of them were true. Like only some of them.
Yes. Okay. So
Some
let
of
me.
them were
Let me tell you about that. So the Dare Stones are a series of 48 or a series of 48 rocks that are chiseled with like writing and stuff on it.
That's amazing.
Most of them are considered, or most of them people are saying are not actually real because they're not as convincing as the very first stone that was found.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
I think this.
The very first stone they believe is real.
Yeah.
And there's also a possible chance that somebody else could have figured out the Dare Stones, figured out about the Dare Stone, and they kind of try to make something like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people think they're fake because soon after they found the first one, they had a huge reward. I want to say like $500 per stone.
Yeah, that's a
if
lot.
you could find another. And one guy found he claimed he found about 20 some in his farm.
Yeah, and it's like barn.
And almost all of those were 100% proven fake. Meaning that a whole bunch of people thought, oh, the other ones he found also fake.
They could be using it for
Publicity or for money.
Yes, because the person who found the first stone was he found it in the summer of 1937. His name was Louis Hammond, I believe that's it.
That sounds right.
Or Hammond.
That's nice.
I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong.
Yeah, you probably did.
I probably did.
It's okay. It's okay. We forgive you.
And
but do we?
He had found it,
Oh no.
but he had found it under suspicious, somewhat suspicious circumstances.
Yeah, it's like
Because he found it during the time that the Lost Colony play was being introduced on Roanoke Island.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I think we even have it.
Wasn't one of them like he found it in the ditch because like his cart broke over?
I can't even replicate that.
I can't agree with you. I'm sorry. I don't have that information.
The proper way to say that to a colleague is say that is beyond the scope of my research.
That is beyond the scope of my research.
My high school history teacher taught me that, and I've used that many of times. In
I noticed that in the Festivus one.
Yes.
Multiple times.
Beyond the scope of my.
Shout out to the Festivus episode. Go watch that.
Yeah, no, you can find it on
it.
SoundCloud and possibly if our website's up by then.
It's probably not.
Oh, it's probably not, but who knows? At www.middleschoolhistorians.weebly.com.
If you're listening to it,
Wow.
if you're listening to this, it's probably already out.
And if you're listening to this, why haven't you listened to any of the other podcasts?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Why haven't you bought a
guys.
T-shirt?
Yeah. Wait.
We got merch?
We're gonna make merch.
You can support us online.
Okay.
We have
Anyway, we are way off subject.
Yeah.
Let's get back onto
let's
the
stop
Dare
the shameless
Stones.
plugging.
Shout out to my YouTube channel.
No. Okay, let's get back onto the Dare Stones.
Shout out to
Dylan, could you not?
Dylan.
Okay.
And that's middle
That's
school podcast.
Instagram.
Okay, we are going now.
Follow us on Instagram.
Please don't.
Here's what's
Okay,
Instagram.
back to alright.
We need a share. Yeah.
And,
Okay.
Anyway.
Alright,
Anyway,
back
Raven,
to the Dare
Raven, Back
Stones.
to Raven.
Now,
back to Raven.
Dylan, be quiet.
Raven,
Alright, so the
please
Lost.
stay on topic.
Let's just turn off this. Which one is this?
Number 2, I think.
I like how you're just
It's
tapping
number
it.
2. Man, don't hurt my mic.
Just.
No.
Thank you.
Alright.
We turned Dylan off.
Oh,
So
wait.
No. I turned it
Oh,
back.
thanks.
That's so rude. Why would
Okay.
you do that? So
back to the Dare Stones.
Yeah.
So there is something called the Lost Colony Research Group. A few years ago, they had this stone at a conference, and they were able to get photographs and stuff really up close to the stone, and they hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open the papers.
Mm-hmm.
Should we input some elevator music?
No, it's good. It's good. Okay, and also Dr. Jim Shutterland.
Raven,
Shutterland.
don't curse.
I'm not.
Jeez.
You know, we expect so much from our students.
Wow, Raven.
No, that's his name,
Charlie,
Doctor.
can you please bleep,
Please don't.
bleep that out?
No, that's his
okay,
name.
I'll insert a
Okay, anyway, his name is Dr. Jim Shutterland he's from Breenua University.
That's
Provide
I like that universe.
and he made he had a lecture, and he also did a translation of the contents that are on the stone.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know what text the students were in? Like, do you know what
They
it was
were
written in?
I have the translation.
Yeah, like, what was it written in, like, English?
Yeah, it
or
was written in kind of like, it was written in
Old English.
Old English kind of,
Yeah.
but the person who wrote it couldn't really spell.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, no, I've seen photos. The spelling is, okay, let's just say 3rd graders have better spelling.
Well, okay.
On occasion.
Let's not. Okay, but here's the thing. When he was translating it, he could have also kind of misseen some letters because it was written on a stone.
Yeah.
So,
It would have been hard to.
but I have the translation right here, and they use a lot of these. But when it gets to like stuff like they don't. They actually say they.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, just
And
telling
just
you.
letting you know, Mr. Mitro left the room.
Yeah, so.
If you hear any background noise when he comes back in, that's why. All right. But back to what the research group was talking about. They found out that when with the pictures and looking at it, they discovered that this stone is the original Dare stone.
Yeah.
That was found on the bank. It was found on the banks. That's where he found it. He found it on the banks.
That means he did not
find it in a ditch.
You did not? Okay,
I knew
that's
I had
nice.
that. I knew I had that information.
Yeah,
it
I
was just on the wrong part.
I remember the ditch.
Oh, hey,
No,
look,
we got
here's
Seth.
another person, Seth.
Welcome, Seth. Take a seat down.
Please join us.
Yeah, no,
So
ju-
like,
you
okay,
can just like
you can
talk
take
into
the
all of our
So
microphones.
say hello. Say hello.
That's the quietest you'll ever hear.
Hey!
Oh gosh, that hurts so much.
No, look, you can even see a spike on the audio.
All right, but anyway,
Seth is our guest
So,
speaker today.
back
I
to
guess.
what I was saying. It wasn't found in a ditch.
Yeah,
for your-
I knew there was
for your
one
thing.
that the guy
Because
found.
I knew I had the information. It was just on the wrong part of my
Yeah,
paper.
that's nice. Raven.
But it was found on the banks of the Chewan River, 6 miles away from Edenton, North Carolina.
I've been there.
Yeah.
You have?
Oh,
Yes, there was a
Oh
beginning
no,
teachers
there's a printer
conference.
noise.
Okay, and
Okay.
Welcome back.
so yeah, it was found 6 miles away from Edenton, North Carolina. And Mr. Mitro said that he's been there, and I believe when he gets back, he will explain what
do you
happened
mean?
when
Mr.
he was
Mitchell,
there.
Is he gone?
What? No, he isn't.
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah, alright, I'm not gonna do that. But I do have the translation.
Mr. Mitchell.
But I do have the translation of the stone. But I'm not gonna read the whole back of the stone.
Please don't.
Oh.
I'm not-
Read the entire
Why is-
thing.
Well, I'll wait for Mr. Mitchell to get back to read the back, but I'll read the
But
front.
Mr. Mitchell is back.
No,
Yeah,
Dylan, stop.
he
bro.
never left. What are you talking
Okay,
about?
anyway. Okay, so I'm just.
Oh, now we have Seth back.
Yeah, I just had to go get my freaking script.
How dare you say that? Seth!
Don't curse.
Seth, I'm gonna have to insert
Don't
the bleep
sue
again.
me. I didn't mean it.
I'm gonna insert the beep again. We record.
I didn't do anything.
We actually recorded a beep to cover what Raven said.
What did you
No,
say?
I said
Raven?
his name, Jim Shutterland.
What? Raven!
That's his name.
Alright, we've already done that joke.
If you want me to bring my iPhone charger.
Okay, so I
it's
wasn't.
like 8 feet.
Okay, now Raven. Ignore them.
What's Raven talking
Oh,
about?
okay, stop glaring, please.
So I have the translation of the first Dare Stone, and I'm not gonna read the back, but I will read the front of it because the back is really long.
Thank you.
I'd
love to hear.
So the front of the
Preach,
stone
preacher.
says and I'm sorry if I pronounce anything wrong because the
That's
spelling
okay.
is kind of
It's okay.
so
We forgive you.
so Anais Dare,
No.
Oh,
And Virginia.
See, that's the name.
Can you let Raven finish?
Anais Dare and Virginia went hence unto heaven 1591. Annie Englishman, Shrew Thon, White Governor Via. That is what it says. I don't know. Can you stop breathing? I can hear you. It's making me cringe.
All right, guys, let's get a little professional here. We're talking about the Dare
Okay.
Stone.
Professional.
We are professional.
Is
I
this
feel like
Roanoke?
You were.
Is this Roanoke?
I feel like
Yes, Roanoke
I'll
last
still
time.
stay in here. I did Blackbeard. I'll stay-
So one of the
I
other
told
we've talked about the Dare Stones. That's an important topic. There was actually 2017, so almost 2 years ago, there was a new documentary. The last one made was in 1971, where they still kind of push for a forgery, where they still push for not a legitimate source of an explanation. But this new documentary, they as they actually shoot it, they're doing stone cuts. They're doing all this new technology that these kids are learning in the classroom in regards to dating and how we look at rocks, how we look at the possibilities of different. There's so many different types of how things are dated nowadays. All I remember is carbon dating from classrooms, but the one there's other possibilities besides these stones, and I think that at least the first one shouldn't be forgotten. It provides some type of light. I think there's legitimacy to it, personally, as a historian myself. But we learned a little bit of this earlier in the year, and some of them watched some videos. Does anyone recall what other possibilities are? We touched on one being possibly aggressive Native
I know
Americans.
another one.
Or them actually going to live with the
One of
Native
them-
Americans.
Yeah.
Well, the problem, from what I understand, John White recapped saying they weren't as hospitable as for obvious reasons, as hospitable as they were hoping for. So, I mean, if they were to play on the aggressive card, it very well could be. But who knows? I mean, people turn to leave.
I heard
Raven, that just means they were nicer than, worse than they thought they were gonna be.
So I
I
heard a theory.
saw a documentary about. I saw a documentary a couple years ago, where they were talking about they were. What are you doing? Okay, they were doing a documentary about it, and they were looking at some people that live from are natives from Roanoke and stuff like that. And they kind of did blood testing, and they had these little things.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it was where they were trying to figure out if they actually kind of went over with them to maybe because the
No,
people
I
that okay well
No,
the people from that came from England brought some sicknesses that that they didn't that some of the Native
Never.
Americans didn't know about.
Never.
Really?
White
Yes.
folk?
What?
Getting people
White?
sick?
What? No.
White people just demolished the whole thing. Oh, I can't think of a time that happened.
Okay, but they brought
I am on the bike.
okay, but they brought sickness over, and maybe they they kind of thought that since they brought it over, they could abduct them and
A duck?
I don't know.
Duck?
And
Why is
use
there a
and
duck on the
then.
island?
I don't know. There could be anything on that.
I mean, there could be a dragon.
I heard another theory. I heard another theory.
Okay, what's your
Throw it
theory,
to a
Dylan?
dragon.
Okay.
I cut you off earlier. 'Cause you cut me off.
Honestly, I have not made this up, but I read this. Yes, I read something. Okay. So this theory was that they actually moved up.
Upstream.
Yeah, they moved upstream, more
Did
inland,
they?
to another fort that was up there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, didn't they? One of the maps John White.
Yeah, there was a
had,
map.
Yeah,
and there was
and
a stain.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they pieced it over.
Yeah.
I thought personally when I first started reading, and I think we watched the same documentary. They talked about
Yeah, I've
it.
seen that one.
They made it. They talked about it, but it wasn't huge for me. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
what-
I feel
yeah,
like
that's really
that's
big.
someone's hiding something.
Yeah.
But then they didn't go into it
We
really
killed.
No,
far. But
I think that's a huge possibility.
Yeah.
Seth, no.
They did. They're trying to cover it up, man.
Maybe they were trying to get
why
away
would
from
they
the
cover
native.
it up
Okay.
if they didn't want to kill
So-
someone?
So if we're saying earlier with what you guys were saying about them not being as nice as they are supposed to.
Well, I'm not saying
Not
they're supposed.
Oh
to.
no, what they thought of. I mean,
Yeah.
sorry.
They're
Yeah.
supposed to be nice to everyone they see.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, not as nice as they thought they were. Maybe they were afraid. Maybe they were afraid that the Native Americans were going to come and attack them per se, and so they created a map and stuff, and they moved inland, and they hid their tracks from them. Would that be a possible
Yeah.
that kind of makes a
I
little
mean,
sense?
That's
Because
possible,
they wouldn't
but-
be hiding it from John White. They would be hiding.
It's
it
like
from
why did that? It seems like they should have left evidence for John White.
I mean, I think they did. The chromaton.
Yeah.
Or someone left evidence for John
the
White.
Dare Stone.
Or the first Dare Stone.
Because
Yeah. Maybe.
in the first part of the translation, she's basically she started I think
what are you trying to say?
it was Virginia Dare that wrote the Dare Stone. I believe, right?
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. And it's like, yeah, because it says, "Father, soon after you've gone from England, gone for England, we came hither." And I don't know what that means, but like,
Hither, meaning like.
I know what hither
Here.
means, but I mean like
Come hither.
they came here, so like to that area, but like I don't know, maybe it could be like a whole like hidden message in there for him to understand. Because, I mean, there was a lot spelled
Well,
out.
then he died without ever finding the stone.
We're not. John
Or maybe he
Shame.
did find the stone and ended up moving it or something. I don't know.
We're not John White. We don't know.
Or are we?
You never know.
Who are we?
I mean, I think we're missing, the
Where
big
are we?
possibility that
When
no one,
are we?
the elephant in the room that no one's talking about.
Why are
We're
we?
talking about an America that hasn't been colonized. We're talking about, very few Native American tribes, meaning if you can imagine an island that is not, that's isolated. No human's been on this, area.
Is it still uninhabited?
No, the Roanoke Island, you can build houses on it, right?
Yeah, they have,
Yeah.
like, plays and stuff on it. Like, they
Yeah.
have the Lost Colony play on
But
Roanoke.
when we're talking 1585, so imagine an area not touched by man. It's completely possible that some type of missing link never evolved, and maybe some type of pseudo Bigfoot. I'm just putting it out there. No one's saying it, but
Mouth monsters now.
All right, now
I'm just
this is my territory.
Alright.
Oh god.
So now we're talking about Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Now it is completely
Now, I'm not saying it. If you look at the climate,
It's turning into a whole Mountain Monsters episode.
It's not. But also, another thing they said in the documentary. Yes, I watched the video. I know, I did.
You watched something educational?
I went to a ton of. Okay, wait, to the point.
That is not.
I remember they said that the water level has risen, so the island's
Yeah,
much
yeah.
smaller than it originally was.
yeah. So either their
Totally.
their farms could have got flooded out, or
Or like the soil wasn't like ripe enough.
yeah, they did the tree samples, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I definitely know the one you're talking
And
about.
they,
I saw that
uh,
twice.
So it was either the land was incapable
But
of.
then why would you build a sediment there if the land's not?
sediment.
Yes, I know that's a type of rock.
Sedimentary
The
rock.
sediment.
The settlement is what he's trying to say, Dylan.
Settlement.
I know.
I can't pronounce words.
Oh, wow, I
Goodness,
can't-
I have metal things in my mouth.
Oh, okay, before editing, it just hit 30 minutes, so.
Why would you have that thing
What?
on your shirt,
It just
Dylan?
hit 30
One thing
minutes.
on my shirt. Why would you have
Are you
that?
wanting
on
to stop?
What
No.
the hell?
Alright,
Just saying.
boys,
That's not right.
let's go. Lost Colony. Keep on task. Where are we at?
We were talking about
We're talking about the high
Bigfoot.
watch.
We're talking about the pseudo Bigfoot.
I mean, it's just something. to
It could
think about.
actually be
It
Bigfoot.
could happen. Like
What if
it's
it's
not
a small
like
foot?
impossible.
Well, that's what I was trying to say before I was interrupted. That I don't think it would necessarily be a Bigfoot given the climate and the ecological position
It's a
of said
Yeti.
island. I think it would be a small, orangutan-like Yeti, similar to the inhabitants of the Everglades down in Florida that
So like-
migrated, a
Are
couple
you
thousand
saying-
So, like
years
a
ago.
Homo sapien?
Absolutely. Some type of like I said, missing link, that just never, evolved
Never-
fully
yeah.
or just stood the test of time. And, I think,
So like a baby.
Speaking
so
of
like a
missing link, have you
tadpole
guys heard of
that
the new
never grew
Missing
up.
Link movie?
Oh
I
my
think
God.
actually,
No, I don't
Like
know.
it could happen, but do you think that's the reason why they covered it up? Like to cover up that they killed all the rest of that missing link family.
well, I wouldn't know because I doubt Bigfoot could have wrote the stones unless in that 3-year span, Virginia Dare came in contact with some type of small Bigfoot, taught the Bigfoot how to read and write, and then
Conspiracy theories.
We're getting too far into this.
all right.
Hey,
So
we
we
dug
have-
the hole. We gotta get out.
Oh wait, I'll have to insert the X Files theme.
please do.
We gotta wrap this up
Hey,
before we get too
We
deep.
We dug the hole. We gotta fill it back in once we get out.
All right. So
Wait,
we
what's
have,
it- wait, how will we get out then?
The
We
deeper
dig a
we
bigger
dig, the
hole and
further
get
we
out.
get.
Have you not played Terraria?
all right.
I have.
So we have
not.
the theory of the Dare Stones. We have the possibility of Native Americans. We have rising water levels, whether that's caused by a hurricane or just a wet summer that led to them deserting inward. Is there any other possibilities of why we lost the lost colony? A mystery that inhabits the United States of America.
I have an idea.
Yes.
A time traveler.
Oh come
Bill
on!
and Ted.
Future.
We only have one
I'm
room
telling you, it's
on this
Bill
pod.
and Ted. It's Bill and
We
Ted.
only have room on this podcast for one solid,
I'm telling you.
outlandish explanation. And I
It's
feel
Bill
like
and Ted.
Bigfoot's really taking
no,
strong.
I really think Bigfoot's taking
No,
over.
it's Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted came back. They made a third movie, and then
Bill and
but it was
Ted?
so bad that they covered it up.
Can I see that?
We need to write that script and send it in for Bill and Ted's Adventure, the Lost
Yes,
Colony edition.
Yes, we do.
It could be a possibility that, like, since John's, wait, was it
John White. Yeah, you got it.
John Black.
Jack
John
Jack
Black.
Jack Black, John
that
White.
Jack Black came? This like sometimes with places where they don't have like officials to look over what's happening, like they could
They
leave.
go crazy.
Exactly, actually. And they go crazy, and then they're like, "Oh, we need to find somewhere where there's government and someone's
We
looking
don't
after
need
us."
no
And
education.
9 point proven.
And since like the water levels could be rising, the land's not good enough. Like we didn't see any farms like made in the lost colony. So like since the water levels were rising, no one was there to like tell them what they would do because he's off somewhere.
One thing I don't know if anyone noticed or found in the research about 11 years ago, 12 years ago, there actually was started the Lost Colony Roanoke DNA project.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's what
I
I was
know.
talking about earlier,
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
documentary.
About the blood.
Yeah, like the blood thing, like DNA testing, where they
Did
like.
she say DNA testing?
She
Well, I
said
said blood
blood
testing.
Okay.
Blood.
It's the same thing.
You know,
No,
No, it's not.
Yes,
No,
yes,
no,
yes,
it's
yes,
not.
yes.
No, it's not,
It's
Raven.
completely
Blood
different.
testing is not the same
So
as DNA
do you-
testing.
I know my mom's a phlebotomist. I understand.
Phlebotomist?
Name drop.
Phlebotomist?
Do you remember or recall the results of this
My
DNA
mom is
project?
not a hippopotamus.
Go on.
Okay,
No
what
one's
did you
even paying attention.
I know.
We're
So
sorry.
listeners, this is what I have to deal with on a daily basis in my class.
Oh, don't worry, it's gonna
No,
be
no,
worse.
we're the best.
Bigfoot and all.
We're the best. We're the best. We're like the best students.
Yeah, I'm his
Yeah,
favorite.
no. Like honestly,
What's on?
I am one of the okay students.
Yeah.
I'm his
next
favorite.
year.
What about next year?
Bet.
It's not gonna be.
You're still gonna deal with Dylan though.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
What if he matures over the summer though?
That's a lie.
I doubt it.
Matthew's gonna be visiting him a lot.
Okay,
It's not
listen.
gonna happen.
I'm gonna be really mature compared to these kids.
I'm more mature than
It
you.
just
I'm
gets
older
quiet.
than you, Dylan.
What?
I'm older than you.
No. Compared to the kids. that are in
Dylan's
sixth
the only
grade now.
7th grader in the room. So at the
Everyone's
school
being
we're located
mean to
at,
me.
the 7th and 8th grade are integrated. Integrated. So the rest of these fellows will move up to 8th or high school, 9th grade. Dylan will move up to 8th grade, but still stay in the building.
Dylan's the only 7th grader, but the rest of us are moving to 8th grade.
Alrighty. Anyone else want to recap while we finish up? Any ideas?
Okay, back to what we were talking about with the DNA testing.
It's like the third time we're talking about the DNA.
DNA
So,
testing.
yes,
DNA
So
testing.
yes, they're doing a DNA testing to see what's really going on. Like, well, not what's well, what's really going on, but
Trying to find relatives. Yeah.
yeah. So like back what I was saying with like they could have gone to like live with the Native Americans. They're kind of like they actually did a DNA test on one person. That's where I saw the
I
documentary
think
on
they
it.
did DNA tests on a lot of people.
Yeah, no,
But I know
only
they
showed one person.
Yeah, they
on
only
the
showed
documentary.
one person specifically.
Oh, what, talking in the doc?
Yeah,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Ugh.
Well, they
Talking.
like they took him on a whole like adventure like to different houses to actually like tell a bunch of different people and his relatives to like talk about it.
but no one tested positive for any traces of John White DNA. No one. We haven't made any connections to the lost colony.
Well, it says right here on the like what this might not be true,
Mhm.
but it says on the front of the Dare stone that Anais Dare and Virginia went hence onto heaven in 1591.
Oh, shit.
What's that have to do with the DNA project?
Well, they could have. Well, those were his. That was like his family.
Wait.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
but
that lineage would have, if they died, and instead of moving inward on land, that DNA would have stopped. So I think that's the point of this DNA project, is to see if they did move in and then started maybe repopulating with the Native American population, we would find that DNA. But judging by the fact they still haven't found any DNA sequences or any positive matches to the White family, they're guessing that what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, because
They haven't found any positive matches.
Yes, I know, which means that this could be true.
Oh,
But
yes, yes.
yeah, no. We know they died.
No, there
Or did they?
Oh
is there like
God.
this theory that who was
They've
it,
been
John
alive
Milk-
this
John
whole
Milk's
time.
Booth? I think that's his name.
Yeah.
There's people who
That
still
was like
think he's
way.
alive. No, there's people who still think he's alive.
Oh, we moved on
John
to
Wilkes
Abraham
Booth?
Lincoln.
Yes.
Oh.
there's people.
Okay, it's talking about people who think
No, I
people
wanna
think
stop
are still
there.
alive. Can we talk about Hitler?
There's people
No.
Please no.
No,
He is.
we've already talked about
that's a
that in
different
class.
podcast.
Oh.
That's a different podcast.
Okay, let's say that.
We're
for
gonna
now.
have to cut a lot of this.
Different
Oh, yeah.
podcast for
No.
different.
Cut this out.
This is gold.
This is quality
This is
entertainment
yeah.
here.
This is.
Well,
Alright.
can I just scream?
No.
Please no.
If you do, leave some space before
No.
and after
You
it so I can
can
cut it out.
You can scream during the.
All right, kids, children, students. Let's wrap this up. Any
Yeah.
last notes on your thoughts, processes, things you want to leave your listeners about the lost colony?
I will be back for the next podcast
We will
very
see.
soon.
We will see about that.
I will be your favorite person. Hopefully.
Don't trust her. She lies a lot.
I do not.
Alright, I'm gonna play
Anyway, we're about 9 minutes over schedule, so let's just wrap this up.
I didn't know we had a schedule.
I
Let's
thought
sing a
we were
song.
supposed-
I mean, oh,
Clap.
this is what I have to deal with.
Thanks for
I know
listening.
this is like
We'll
kindergarten.
see you next week.
For listening today.
Please.
Thank you for listening today.
Don't come back.
No,
Actually, do.
Yeah,
Please
we
come.
need to be-
Please join us for our next podcast.
We don't know what it's
Thank-
gonna be on.
Goodbye and thank you.
They're
You're
basic headlines.
welcome.
Podcast.